Hi, welcome to the Crypto Matrix X. Before we begin today, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial ship, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Matrix X. Hello, XRP Army, and welcome back to the Crypto Matrix X, your go-to channel for the latest high-energy updates in digital assets. Before we get started with today's business, make sure to smash that like button, ring that bell, and subscribe to the Crypto Matrix X, bringing you updates every day. Just a reminder, this video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Crypto Matrix X. Today we're going to be diving into something absolutely massive, XRP, and I mean it's huge. And in my opinion, we could be right around the corner from a historic short squeeze. And most of the market doesn't even see it coming. If you're holding XRP or even just following the crypto space, this video is critical. I'm breaking down why XRP could see a strong move soon, why short sellers are completely wrong on the side of this, and why developments like BitNormal could change everything. Before we dive in, if you enjoy this content, smash that like button and subscribe. It really helps me keep bringing these updates to you. Let's break it down. When I started making this video, I honestly didn't expect to cover short positions on XRP, but here we are. And what I'm seeing shocking, the short interest to get XRP is off the charts, stacked higher than almost every other crypto, even coins with far less utility. Think of it like a ship carrying a heavy load, but the crew has no idea how to navigate. That's exactly how these shorts are positioned. And in my opinion, this could create a setup for a significant upside potential once the market catches up with the fundamentals. Before we get into the short squeeze itself, I want to highlight a catalyst flying under the radar. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, BitNormal is absolutely critical for XRP. Most people are missing what this platform is doing. It's a derivatives exchange that quietly went under the radar, but it's getting major funding from Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse is on their board. This is not just another crypto project. This is strategic infrastructure that, in my opinion, has the potential to influence XRP's adoption and market activity. What just happened is absolutely historic. Okay, they launched the first ever CFTC-regulated spot crypto exchange in the United States, with XRP fully tradable across spot futures, perpetuals, options, all under federal oversight. No other digital asset in the US has this full stack under one umbrella. But it gets bigger. XRP and RLUSD are now approved as collateral, meaning they can be used as margin just like US Treasuries, just like major stablecoins, just like institutional-grade assets. Let this sink in for a second, ladies and gentlemen. This is so important. I can't explain to you how important this really is, okay? And in my opinion, this is a legitimacy breakthrough. Transforms XRP from just a token with utility into something much deeper. A recognized financial instrument inside the US market structure, and that unlocks the door for banks, hedge funds, family offices, institutional trading desks, market makers, liquidity providers, all the players who previously restricted. But here's the part that really matters. Institutions don't just want regulatory clarity, they require it. And in my opinion, XRP now has the clearest regulatory pathway of any major crypto in America. People missed what VITMA actually built. Most people still think crypto futures in the US are just cash-settle casino chips, but they're not. BitNormal went a completely different direction. And that difference matters way more than people realize. They built the only US exchange where regulated futures settle in the underlying asset itself. No slippage, no conversion steps, no cash IUS. Hold through expiration and you actually receive the crypto that unlocks true ownership. Crypto has margin, real delivery, on-chain settlement, and brand new strategies that don't exist all in the cash-settled market. Suddenly, miners, treasury funds, ETFs, and institutions can hedge, settle, deliver, borrow, lend, and margin for the first time against the real digital asset itself. This is why they fought so hard for XRP classification. That is why they build crypto-settled derivatives. This is why this is also important. And ladies and gentlemen, nobody's talking about this, but the United States is quietly paving the rails for a real digital asset settlement infrastructure. No speculation, ladies and gentlemen. This story is going heavily under the radar. But what we just saw is more than just a new derivatives exchange. This is a huge advancement in critical infrastructure for the cryptocurrency market and seemingly being led by Ripple through BitNormal. One of the most important things to highlight is the uses of spot crypto for collateral. Again, that puts XRP in a position of its own. With Ripple's strategic partnership and XRP having regulatory clarity, XRP could potentially become the underlying systematic collateral for this new crypto derivatives market being created. Right now, it's mostly crypto, but have we seen, via Ripple's purchase of companies like G Treasury, more traditional assets could start coming over to the XRP ledger and likely be settled via companies like BitNormal, using cryptocurrencies as the underlying liquidity to make this transaction happen. Let me break this down in plain terms, in my opinion, why this is monumental. Development of XRP. I'm going to give you some historical examples. DJ Logistics before Normandy, the Allies carefully planned supply lines and infrastructure. They didn't act blindly. They built the conditions for success in advance. BitNormal is doing the same for XRP. Ripple is quietly laying the groundwork so that when market catalysts hit, XRP is ready to execute decisively. Apollo moon landing. Ripple is like NASA preparing for the moon landing, building decades of infrastructure the public can't see yet. BitNormal is the rocket computers and life support systems. XRP is positioned to launch like a moonshot, the Manhattan Project. Ripple is building critical tools and infrastructure in advance. XRP could be positioned as systematic collateral like a hidden component of massive successful project. Tesla supercharging network. Tesla built charging infrastructure long before EVs were mainstream. When demand hit, they had a first mover advantage. Bitnum's Ripple's supercharger network. XRP is set up to benefit once adoption and market activity increases. Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking yesterday again about a black swan event, right? The BRICS unit. The titans of global finance fight using algorithms and asset reserves, okay? They don't use armies anymore. And the BRICS unit, well, there's an entire new supply of battle weapons, okay? The gold unit that BRICS has created, right, is the biggest challenge to the US dollar dominance that we've seen in our lifetime. Okay, and in my opinion, right, its success almost might be predetermined because it's built on an idea that was nearly adopted in 1944 at Bretton Woods. But then it was passed over for the global dominance IMF SDR. And if we're paying attention here, I tell you that we have a metrics. This is part of our research. I want you to stay with me right here, okay? I believe an iron financial curtain is going up, right? And this idea, the BRICS unit, it's taken about 80 years, but the idea has finally come down to roost. There's going to be two monetary systems in this world, ladies and gentlemen, okay? You're going to have two zones. You're going to have the East and the West. East Trench, West Trench, no man's land. The East is going to be gold-backed, okay? And the West was still going to be debt-backed. So stay with me in the East in the BRICS unit on Cardano. It's on the Cardano, okay? Using ADA, right? Tokenized gold is going to play a major role. Gold will be tokenized, and it's going to be in vaults used as nodes running along its blockchain, okay? So this unit's been launched since October. Now, if we take a look at its components being launched in October, that's probably why gold went on such a torrid gold, rally in October. Believe me, myself and others, we took full advantage of this because I've been following this for a long time because at the end of the day, I use macro events. I use everything I learned that I'm going to try to show you, going to show you everything that was taught to me in the macro looking at this because we got our plan with mechanics, the who, what's, why, and when. Okay, so now the unit is operating right now in a pumpkin sandbox. That is their test zone, and it's running right alongside the BRIC currencies, and we can see their data. It's published every day, okay? And you need gold to participate. Gold is becoming the password to actually be trading with the East. The East system of currency is going to be backed by gold. There's going to be no debt. There's going to be no bonds. It's just going to be backed by gold, okay? While on the west side of the trench, okay, where we're still fighting over, do you like this crypto beta? Do you like that crypto better? I don't like you. Oh my God, you're no good. You're not. Greed has totally destroyed us. And the BRICS in the global south, they're playing for keeps, ladies and gentlemen. What they're doing right now, they're on their way, as far as I'm concerned, to creating the first challenge, like I only telling you, to the dollar world order, okay? And again, right, they're taking an idea that was almost adopted from Bretton Woods, okay? So you have to realize this, and this starting off tomorrow, you got the Abu Dhabi Financial Week, right? And in the second half of that, you got a lot of people speaking there, and a lot of nations going there. And also you got a lot of big time Wall Street companies going there, Gayscale, BlackRock, a lot of people. They're talking about payment rails, ladies and gentlemen. They're already off to the races, the BRICS in the unit. They've already put their system in. They're using it. It's operating and going. They're tired of being pushed around by economic financial strain and sanctions, okay? They want to have come up with a unit that's grounded so much in economic theory that people are not going to worry about trading with certain countries with a certain type of political structure that could be rife with geopolitical rift and geopolitical problems. So that is why they have put the BRICS unit in. And I've been following this for a long time. And the fact that it's going already, and it's on Cardano, a centralized and uncentralized exchange for smart contracts. This should tell you something. This should also tell you something right now, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the fact that BitNormal, why I believe this is so important, and why I believe XRP is the black swan event as well, going up against the unit in BRICS, is because now it can be used as underlining collateral. So if they got an advancement on their side of the trench, We've got to get an advancement on our side of the trench to keep going forward. And this is what happens. And this is why when I tell people, stop worrying about everyday, daily price fluctuations up and down. See the macro events. See where we're going, okay? Look, I'm going to also talk about a man who I love, Jesse Livermore. Anybody in finance knows this gentleman. One of the biggest things he talks about is position sizing. The most important thing in trading, again, is your position size. It's got to be so small that it could be cut up, carried, add to. Ladies and gentlemen, trading or speculation, guess what? It's an occupation. It's a profession. So you got to be able to survive the ups, the downs, the left, right, all over. That is the law of the market, okay? And when you stop realizing, because the beginner who gets into this market, well, the beginner thinks the more I risk, I can get rich sooner. Wrong. You will not be Gucci with that attitude. You will not be Gucci with that whole mindset. You will not be Gucci with that attitude. You will not. You have to have small sizes so that you're in the market long enough to when the time is right, you can make your fortune, okay? Because the moment you stop respecting the law of the market, you'll get cut up like sushi and you will not be Gucci, okay? Jesse Livermore, look at this guy, okay? Made a fortune in 1920s. Unfortunately, he met a really unfortunate end because he broke one of his own rules, which I'll go back and discuss, which I did discuss over another video. He made a maneuver on cotton and they ended up losing and he committed suicide. It was a T thing. But let me get back this up. I'm talking about bricks, okay? And I'm talking the unit and I'm talking about us and I'm talking about XRP. I'm talking about why this is so important. Bit normal again, okay? So if you look at all about $1 billion has flown into these ETFs, okay? $1 billion have flown into ETFs with XRP. These guys on the street know what we're up against in the unit in bricks. Believe me, this is some modern day version of the Manhattan projects that the banks on our side of the trench, they understand what's at stake. They understand what's going on in this austere region, okay? So we got to get going because they're going right now, right? And again, I look at how this affects overall commodity markets and different exchanges all over the world. And what happened in gold, and we took advantage of this, is blowing my mind. So the iron financial curtain has gone up, right? Look at this. No differently than what happened when Wellington defeated Napoleon, okay, at Waterloo, right? Who do you think gave Wellington all the money? The Rothschild banking system. They lent him all the money. He defeated Napoleon. They took advantage of everything. The banks today are no different. They're going to back both sides so they could take advantage of everything. But if the BRICS unit has got all these new toys, we got to have new toys. So it amazes me in what I'm talking about. Never throw mud on anybody else, ladies and gentlemen. No mud is we're throwing mud on different cryptos in this country. Well, the BRICS in the global south, they're not taking any prisoners. They made something on economic theory that we created. They took it from us. They took it from us. So understand this, what's happening, and understand why people talk about where we're going in the macro. When I talk about a recce, the research, the why, the who's, the when, why I'm talking about position sizing. So you're just seeing kind of what I'm talking about and seeing this is so important that I'm blown away when I see people say, oh, this coin's the best, that coin's the best. It's about the future of how we live with free world, because I always tell you the battle between the US stablecoins and the BRICS unit. This is like Rocky fighting Drago in the 80s, okay? The 90s. This is what this is like, ladies and gentlemen. This is what's at stake, okay? So please pay attention. And why I'm talking about position sizing from Jesse Livermore, who said this. He's got an exact quote. I'd have to pull it up and read it exactly for you. But again, we're going to follow this again together. So I want you to take out a quick piece of paper and I want you to write this down, right? October gold rally BRICS unit, 40% gold, 60% currencies of the BRICS nation. I want you to write down that those currencies are settled in gold. I want you to write down that it's in a pumpkin patch sandbox environment. I want you to write down on the Cardano network. I want you to write down right here that the results and trading volume are published every day. Now on our side, I want you to write down bit normal. I want you to write down XRP being able to be used right now as collateral, okay? Which is so important because that's our answer to this. And if you don't understand, I want you to see from my eyes. I want you to write down right now Napoleon. I want you to write down Wellington. I want you to write down the Battle of Waterloo. I want you to go back and see who lent him the money to win and what happened after. And guess what? As we go forward, we'll talk more about this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, but a lot's at stake. So, this is something I'm looking at. And I spent yesterday on the phone, hour after hour, trying to explain this to people. And unfortunately, I can't spend enough time explaining this to everybody because this is what it is. But that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. And it's very, very important. Okay, so let's go. Now, let's dig deeper into the short positions on XRP because this is where things get really interesting. XRP is being massively shorted, far more than almost every other cryptocurrency. And I mean far more. Even coins that have no real utility are seeing slightly less short-term interest. Think about that for a second. XRP, one of the strongest large-cap cryptos with real-world adoption, institutional partnerships, and regulatory clarity, is being treated like a high-risk speculative coin by shorts. I can't. It's almost unbelievable. It's like unbelievable what I just said about the name calling about you like this coin better, that coin better. It's like unbelievable. But to put this in perspective, look back over the last 5 years. Have you ever seen XRP this highly shorted? Absolutely not. Not even during the middle of Ripple's SEC case when uncertainty around regulatory outcomes at its peak. Yet today, with the SEC case largely settled and XRP gaining regulatory clarity, shorts are piling in at record levels. And in my opinion, this is a classic setup where the market's on the wrong side of the trade. XRP is strong fundamentals, real institutional adoption, and increasing demand. But shorts are betting against all of that. This imbalance, strong fundamentals on one side, massive shorts at the other, is exactly the type of situation that has historically preceded explosive upward moves. Think about GameStop, GME, in early 2021. Shorts were completely caught off guard, and when buying pressure hit, it triggered a rapid dramatic squeeze. Now, XRP isn't GME, and this isn't a prediction, but the mechanics are similar. Record short positions, a strong underlying asset, and growing positive catalysts, in my opinion, the potential for a powerful short squeeze, and XRP is real. Look at XRP charts from 2016 to 2017. Notice the wave consolidation pattern followed by a massive breakout. Now, look at today's chart, and in my opinion, the pattern is very similar. And combined with short squeeze potential, ETF inflows, and normal infrastructure, it could see the stage for a strong move to the upside. Other factors supporting potential upside pressure: Ripple's is entering the derivatives market, XRP positioned as potential systematic collateral via normal, ETF demand accelerating, record capitulation levels, historical strong indicators of long-term bottoms. Everything aligns in a way that, in my opinion, makes XRP a very interesting case to watch. If this is making sense, hit that like button and comment below if you're holding XRP. I want to hear your thoughts. Your engagement helps get this information in front of more people. Ladies and gentlemen, I also talk about the OK regions, right? We talk about the AI situation with China. This is not an AI race. We have to win this. It's a race about kilowatts, about energy right now. And unfortunately, we're losing because we're not making enough energy, right? Okay, China's eating our lunch. They're pumping out coal-backed energy plants much faster than us. But we got the secret weapon if we can use it. We got nat gas, ladies and gentlemen. Nat gas. We got the Crescent Shell Valley. We got Texas. We got shell basins of natural gas. Okay, the problem is we should put AI data centers right on top of this and we can fuel everything. I can't in good faith even my own self with people that have contracted us in any capacity. Okay? Because when we have elections, you have different political ideologies that don't go along with sometimes common sense for energy needs. And I don't know why, but I am not here to take one way or another. I'm here to look at financial guide you through this, right? So we need to win the AI race, okay? We need to catch up by making more energy. So that's the AI situation. United States of America is a kilowatt battle, okay? We need to build AI data centers where there's shell immediately. We win with that. But we're not doing that, but we're going to catch up. Because this, I want you to understand when I talk about this region, I'm looking to you looking back again. You need to think about this. There's a lot at stake, and the pettiness in where we're coming from about people disliking one coin or the other is unbelievable. So you have to sit there and see what's best for you. I know what's best for me. I know what's best for the people that retain me and my organization because I spent all day yesterday. This video is supposed to go out yesterday, but I can't get off the phone. You think I could tell some of these people from family offices, oh, by the way, I can't take your call. I got to make a YouTube video. They would look at me like I totally lost my mind, but they love me. So that's a good thing, right? But I'm here teaching you the secret source. The secret source, okay? Being your guide, the mechanics, the research, right? What do we cover today? We went over trade size. I'm giving you the analogy. Jesse Livermore, okay? We went over the mechanics and the metrics where the trenches are, the left and right. What they're using the technology and what's at stake. I tell you right now, you got to come out with a journal and you write this down. When you write something down, it's a lot more powerful for you, okay? But we're going to be following this and we're going to talk about this. So if you're new to the channel, you got to go back a couple videos and listen to my rants about where we're going and why so you can be up to date with us, okay? And if you got questions and comments, again, I read all the comments. I answer to everyone. I love you guys, right? Throw in the comment section about this, about the units, bricks, all this. I will answer as fast as I can, okay? But this is what is at stake. And this is where I was taught from generations of floor traders how to take advantage of craziness that's happening, because the financial craziness allows us to take positions that can move in an opposite direction of the markets and take advantage of everything. Because let me tell you something, bankers, family offices, everybody, they take advantage of everything and they're all on the same side. Okay, but think about what we went over today. Okay, so what does this all mean for XRP? In my opinion, we could be on the brink of something historic. Short sellers are heavily stacked against XRP, but they may not fully understand the fundamentals of the catalyst we just covered. We have Ripple quietly building critical infrastructure through BitNormal, XRP positioned as potential systematic collateral, record ETF inflows, and short interest at levels we haven't seen in 5 years. All of these things together paint a picture of an explosive setup for XRP, the kind of move that could surprise the entire market. Think about it this way. Short sellers are essentially providing jet fuel for XRP. The more they pile in blindly, the bigger the potential upside if conditions shift. And when we compare today's XRP charts to 2016-2017, the consolidation patterns and potential breakout points are nearly similar. History doesn't repeat exactly, but it often rhymes. And in my opinion, everything's lining up perfectly. Remember the GME short squeeze? This isn't exactly the same, but it's the closest real-world analogy we have. People on the wrong side of the trade can create rapid, extreme moves. Every metric we've looked at, liquidity, ETF demands, bituminous, infrastructure, regulatory clarity, and historical patterns point to XRP being extremely well-positioned for a strong move upwards. So, if anyone holding XRP or watching the market carefully, this is a time to pay attention. The next few weeks could be absolutely critical. As always, nothing is guaranteed, and you should do your own research. But in my opinion, the alignment of catalyst, market structure, and historical precedent makes this one of the most exciting setups in crypto right now. Thank you so much for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts. Your support allows me to keep bringing these deep dive high-vol insights into the crypto market. Have a great day, always stay emotionless, and watch XRP closely. This content is for formational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research and consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions. Remember, the game is changing, and those who understand it first will benefit most. Make sure you're on the right side of it. You have two choices. You can be like the crowd reacting after the move, rationalizing why they missed it, telling themselves they'll never let it happen again. Or you can be the one who saw behind the curtain, the one who understood the infrastructure shift, the one who positioned early, not randomly, but intentionally. Because some moments in history are loud, but the ones that change everything are quiet right up until the moment they're not. And this is one of those moments. Do not blink, because the world is distracting you with noise, and XRP continues developing behind the scenes and building momentum in the broader digital asset landscape. Stay sharp, stay informed, accumulate knowledge. Your move now will be remembered. This is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, ring the bell, and leave a comment with your thoughts. Turn on notifications, and most importantly, subscribe to the Crypto Matrix X. We break down the major global banking trends shaping digital assets today, giving you context, clarity, and research you can use. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, and stay in the Crypto Matrix X.